I got Grandpa's old fly tying vise right here. You don't have to have nothing fancy. I don't even really know if you need a vise, but I use it, makes it easier. We'll do a few wraps from the eye of the, we start at the eye of the hook, work our way up on the first pass. Okay, when I retie this treble hook, I try to use colors that I think, look like they belong on the bait. I'll have to add a little Flashaboo. It's not a very expensive product, and it looks cool. And as Matt Allen would say, how would Matt say? It gives the bait extra attraction, it adds extra flash, and it adds extra drawing power. And any bit of drawing power you can get from a bait is what you want. That's the idea. If you can take a simple bait, like imagine this bait's sitting still completely, even if you don't notice it or you're not thinking it, any little movement of the water or anything, this Flashaboo is going to get that light, the sunlight, and with that movement, it's gonna flash and it's gonna attract fish to it. Believe it. I got a little bit of chartreuse right here. We're gonna cut us up a little bit of that. Just set that right there for now. I'll go with a little bit of blue. I'm not scared. Looks kind of cool, right? Can't do no harm. I got blue on the bait. I think it'll go good. So we'll throw some blue. Flashaboo comes in a million different colors. You will find the color you need to do this, whatever color your bait may be. I like lots of Flashaboo. It's actually kind of a buoyant material too, and sometimes I think it helps that treble hook stand out just a little bit. I'm going to try to mix it all up a little bit rather than just half blue, half chartreuse. Twist it up a little bit and see if I can mix it up. Okay. When you put your Flashaboo in, you want to put it in first before your feathers, and you want to leave it a little bit, if anything, make it long. You can always trim it back at the very end of doing all this. Okay, so just hold it in there real nice, make a couple wraps. You don't want to, when you're adding layers like this, you don't want to make a gazillion wraps, okay? Because this is just the start. We're going to be doing more of this. Okay, so get it in there, kind of get it laid out the way you want it. Got a couple wraps on it right now, which looks cool. Okay, we're going to put white feathers on this. And just grab a handful. When you put these feathers on, you'll notice that feathers got a natural concave to them, whatever side of the bird it came off of. Okay, you're going to want to take and point those outwards. That's what gives that treble hook a little bit of flair. And this takes time. This is all little tiny stuff that you're working with. So take your time, no big rush. Whoops, I already lost one now. Let me grab a few of these bad boys. All right. Okay, we'll add a couple here. See how when you turn them out that way, it gives them that flare that you want, instead of all just laying bunched up and everything. Give you that cool flare. Round up a few more. Maybe tuck these ones in underneath. A couple more wraps. Like I said, don't go crazy with your wraps because you got a lot of work to do still here, and you don't want to just have tons of thread and everything up on there when you're done. Okay, these feathers are really thin, so sometimes you can get away with using 4 or 5. These feathers are so thin, I'm going to put a bunch of them on here. I don't mind having a big flashy looking tail feather on this bait. Doesn't bother me one bit. I don't think the fish mind either. Okay, see how we're starting to get that flare and that spread? I mean, we're starting to get it looking like a treble hook you'd buy at the store out of a pack. I mean, it's how these guys do it. Okay. And you just keep adding. Add feathers all around it until you get it the way you see it fit, the way you like it. You know, don't make a big old blob and overpower your bait or anything like that. Just make it nice and clean. Okay. Let's see. Look it over a little bit, see where you're running kind of skinny, kind of bare. Go ahead and add in there on this one, bare down here. Okay, we got quite a few feathers on there, quite a bit of flashaboo that, like I said, we can always trim that up. I mean, always, we're going to. All right, now that we got everything in there that we want, let's go ahead and make some good, tight, don't pull so tight that you snap your thread because you'll be bummed, you'll have to start all over. But just get good tension on there, pull down, do a nice clean job. Don't make it all, you know, funky looking. Take your time. Okay, once you get it wrapped up pretty good the way you want it, the little trick that guys do, and this trick works for guys that tie jigs. If you're going to retie the eyelet on your rod, it's the same little trick. And this is how you kind of get that tag in to keep from coming undone. It's a little finish knot type of deal. So I'm going to take a piece of braided line with a little loop in it. Take the loop and head it out towards the back of the hook, so to speak. Now that the loop's in there, take and wrap around that braided line. You know, guys go 5, 6 times, whatever. I always go at least 6 or 7. It doesn't hurt to go a few times there. Okay. Keep tension on that thread. Grab your trusty scissors, get it cut. Keep tension on that tag in at all times. Don't let that go because you got good tension on it already. So what you're going to want to do is kind of come from the back here and run forward through that Power Pro. Whoop, get in there. Oh, I got feathers catching my line. Hold on, boys. Okay, run forward through there. Still keep tension on this thread. You know, that's the main thing. You don't want to let go of that. Okay, suck your braid down a little bit. Make sure you got your line snugged in like that. Now you're good. Now what's going to happen is we're going to take and give this a nice swift tug, and it's going to take this threaded tag in, and it's going to suck it underneath the 7 or 8, 9, 10 laps that you did over the top of it. Essentially, that ties it up. You can do this with pliers or whatever. I'll just give it a good yank. Done. Tag in went underneath and through. Grab it. Still snug it up nice and good. I felt it cinch down a little bit right there. Go ahead and take your scissors. You can trim it, see? That's it. It's not coming untied. It's not going to do anything crazy. Before I add glue to this, we're going to add a drop of glue to it, by the way, to keep it from ever coming apart. I mean, eventually it might, but we're going to trim all this excess stuff on this end off of here. We don't want it there. The glue kind of catches it and travels up it, and it just makes a mess. So any of this excess stuff that's on here, go ahead and trim it up real quick. Not looking like a bad, not looking too bad right there, guys. Okay, we're going to trim this way more. Okay, don't get me wrong, that's not staying like that, but this hook's so small, I got to actually take it out of here to work with it. Cute little hook, tell you what. All right, we got it cleaned up a little bit better. You know, we just, like I said, we're not trying to make a mess here. We're trying to make this bait look cool. All right, I'm gonna put it back in there. When I do, put it back in my fly vise here, I'm gonna angle it downwards when I do this drop of glue, because glue, super glue especially, it has a tendency to travel with materials. And if you got this thing going the opposite direction, straight down, that glue runs down, it jacks all your feathers, everything up, all your hard work is, it kind of messes it up. So we'll take and we'll just put a tiny drop of glue on here. It's not going to be much. Maybe my glue is going to work this time. Okay, just a little bit of glue on there so we're not tying treble hooks every other week. I mean, seriously, that should stay on there for a long time. This stuff's sticking everywhere. Okay. Now that's done, excuse me, we'll have a little look here. Kind of overlook it, see what we got. It's a little overpowered right now with the length of that Flashaboo. Not bad, but a little bit, so we'll trim that up just a hair, not a ton. And I mean, you can trim them really however you like. This is all up to you. The whole reason that we're doing stuff like this is cosmetic, okay? This is to make you feel good and have confidence in your bait, which is gonna make you throw it longer, harder, and you're gonna handle business because you believe in this bait. That's what this is all about. And just keep trimming it up to where I like it. That's not too bad. It's not too overpowering. When that gets wet, it's going to look pretty cool. Okay, that's that part of that deal. Let me find my split ring. Yeah, we'll probably have to edit all this. This last split ring on here. Still got a little bit of wet super glue. You guys want to make sure you watch out for that. Boom. Just like that. Okay. Nothing to it. Okay, that tail to me matches that bait a little bit better. Whether or not it makes a difference at all to the fish, it makes a difference to me because now I like the looks of this bait just a little bit better. And I'm gonna have confidence that it's gonna do its job. Another thing that we'll do while we're here, and like I said, you don't have to do any of this. This isn't have to do stuff, this cosmetic stuff. The split rings and the hooks are the only things that's a have to do thing. All this other stuff just because it's fall, we're bored, let's make it look cool. I use a paint pen or a Sharpie, either one. We already got the red hook up there, which is gonna add some flash to this bait when it's sitting suspended. Red hooks on like crankbaits and stuff, I don't know how important that is really, but on any bait that's gonna actually sit still for any amount of time, a red hook doesn't do it any harm, like a jerk bait, a rip bait, any of those baits that are gonna suspend and sit there for a second, that hook's gonna throw a little flash, and that might be the deciding factor in catching a giant fish and not catching anything, especially when fish are acting neutral or they've just, you know, they're tired of seeing your bait. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the gills with this red Sharpie. We'll just color them in a little bit, give it a little extra flash. Why not, right? We're just having fun. And trust me, sometimes this fun can end up big fish. That's the real fun. Okay, we're not gonna go like crazy overkill with it or nothing. Okay, we're just gonna doctor it up a little bit. I'm gonna land the fish. Absolutely, that's what it's all about. Thank Bass Brigade for their time, and hope everyone can use these, you know, just little tips and tricks. It's fall, winter, you guys can't fish all the time. We got wind and rainy days where you're in the house. Tinker around with your baits just a little bit, okay? Make them look cool, why not? Doesn't cost a whole lot of extra money, and it could have a whole lot of reward.